broadly, the heads of state now imploring President Macron and pushing for easy access to credit. Are we about to see a total shift in terms of economic dealing with remember that China has made great inroads in some countries in Africa. We've seen USA, we've seen our president saying that he's not looking east or west, but he must be looking somewhere. Are we about to see some total shift in terms of economic dealing?
Let's start with something you have mentioned that is very important, that these countries want easy access to credit so that you can get cheaper interest rates if you get a loan from China, from France, or wherever you get it. Mm-hmm. I think that is very important for countries because most countries run a deficit, so they're always borrowing money. But even before we go to that, we need to find out or to ask, are we getting easy credit as citizens of this country? Mm-hmm. Because one of the biggest innovations, or one of the biggest observations we made when Kibaki came to power, and people can contest that economically he did quite well, was easy access to credit. And that's why the economy did very well. If you have a project, you wanted money, it was very easy to get. That's when we found people hawking loans on the streets of Nairobi. Mm-hmm. So let's not just think about governments getting access to credit, but also individuals like you and me. Mm-hmm. When I looked at 2026 economic survey, one of the things that surprised me is the liquidity of the banks. They have a lot of money that they are not borrowing, mm-hmm. or they are not lending because people don't feel that they are confident enough mm-hmm. to borrow money and they invest. So on the architecture of economics, I think there has been a big shift since there has been a big push since President Ruto came to power mm-hmm. for a new global financial architecture.
Yes.
Because he says that it is skewed against Africa, mm-hmm. which is true because if you look at the reserve currency, if you look at who borrows and who is rent, mm-hmm. if you look at who pays interest rates, it's normally the less developed countries. Mm-hmm. But remember the global architecture that we have today, financial architecture, have been there since World War II, head of World mm-hmm. War II. Mm-hmm. The Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, and so on. So the only way to reduce the effect or the power of that architecture is to come up with a counterweight. Mm-hmm. So like now the US has a counterweight, which is China. Because mm-hmm. as the president says, he's neither facing east or facing west, mm-hmm. because he has a choice.
He has a choice.
There was a time there was no choice. You could either face one or the other.
Right.
So if we have to reduce the effect of these global economic players, World Bank, IMF, US, and the rest, we need to counterweight. But if I ask you, what is a counterweight to IMF? Mm-hmm. What is a counterweight to World Bank? Mm-hmm. What's a counterweight to all these big institutions? Mm-hmm. So unless they have a counterweight, mm-hmm. their power will continue. Mm. So I think President Ruto has a good dream mm-hmm. that we need a more playing field in a global mm-hmm. financial architecture, mm-hmm. but so far we don't have any counterweight to the big players. Mm-hmm. And we hope, people have been talking about BRIC and so on, mm-hmm. but so far we still have the dollar, the euro mm-hmm. as the key reserve currencies, not the yuan mm-hmm. or the dirham and the rest, mm-hmm. not yet. Mm-hmm. The question is, who is going to bail the cat?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Is it President Ruto?
Who is it President Ruto? Because the way he talks, it's like he's actually the new entrant. He's fairly new because you can see Museveni have been here for 40 years. We've seen Kagame, he's now doing more than 20 years. We've seen all the other presidents. The president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, is new, but she's a bit reserved. She's not really going out. But President William Ruto is sort of really going by the bull's horns.
Since he became the president.
He became the president, and not more than 2 months after that, he held the first climate summit in Nairobi and started having this conversation about the global financing architecture and was insistent on some of these things.
So it has been consistent.
He has been consistent there.
And you even remember he was so critical of the conglomeration of countries being hosted, African countries being hosted by one European country. He was saying, come to Africa. Macron is the first to come.
That's why I said it was from optics and everything. Mm-hmm. This was a good move.
It was strategic.
But remember, we have been hosted by Japan, by Korea, by Russia, by US. We're always being hosted by somebody else. And that's a part of the architecture he's talking about, that other people define our economic and political trajectory. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the time we did that. Mm-hmm. But I think for us to be successful, we need maybe some counterweights.